feet in any direction. Now you're also about to see all 110 stories of the Sears Tower in one fell swoop. We're going to get this view exactly twice. Here's your first one on the right. Get your cameras out and on the ready, because there she is. And as you're looking up, make sure that you smile and wave. There are people in the ledge taking pictures of all of us. And we're all taking pictures of them. Circle of life. So we're going to go back to the Sears Tower on our way back, but let's go ahead and put the whole name change to a vote. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. The Sears Tower was officially renamed the Willis Tower several years ago, and they have a name rights through 2025, so who knows what it's going to be called after that. But I feel like, you know what? I got hundreds of people in front of me on a boat every week. I'm just going to take a vote. Okay, I'm going to say both Sears Tower and Willis Tower. I just want you to cheer for the one you prefer. There's no wrong answer. You ready? The Willis Tower. How about the Sears Tower? And it's pretty much unanimous on every single tour. No one likes the name change, so at least here in Chicago, we do tend to stick with the Sears Tower. So we're going to come back to it. Instead, I want to direct your attention to the left. There's not a whole lot of places in the world where you can literally look under buildings and see and very much hear active trains that are running under. There are active trains running under all these buildings coming up along the left. Whether you can see them or not, they're under there. And they shape these upcoming buildings on the left in some really interesting ways. That also means, though, that all these buildings on the left are built on a really interesting legal concept called air rights. Now how that works is, you might be the railroad company, you buy the land, you build your train tracks on the land that you own. But then that's a lot of wasted air over those train tracks. What you gonna do with that air? You gonna use it? How about you lease the rights to the air itself to me? I will lease the rights to the air over your train tracks, and I'll build my building in the air rights that I have over your train tracks. So that's the idea of air rights. Now usually, there's enough room underneath these buildings amongst the train tracks to run the caissons down into the ground to support the buildings from underneath. The caissons are like the big stilts that anchor the building in the ground. Draw the building to the stilts. Sometimes though, there's too many train tracks under a building. They have to figure out some other way to hold up the building's weight from some other way if they can't do it totally from underneath. That's why I want you guys to be thinking about the Boeing headquarters building coming up here on the left at the end of this upcoming bridge. And by the way, I'm not skipping either of these. I'm not skipping anything. I am planting knowledge seeds, and we shall harvest our knowledge plants together at the end of the tour. Now first, before I tell you about the Boeing headquarters building, everyone look to the left and wave to the three people who are looking over at us. Oh yes, we are that boat. We are that boat. So the Boeing headquarters building coming up on the left, see how it has a tower and then a short chunk sticking out towards us? This one's going to be same here as the pink building that we started to tour with. Different architects, Perkins and Will, same style. How's that the same style as the pink building? They don't look anything alike. Well, it's because in postmodernism, it's not so much about what they look like, it's about how they're having fun with architecture. I'm going to tell you guys how this one's having fun on the way back. First, I just want you to notice the shape of it, okay? Why is it shaped that way? It has to do with those train tracks. You see, there's enough room under the tower to run the caissons into the ground. But then under the shorter part, there's too many train tracks, so they can't lever it off of the taller part. Now, what does that mean? Think of it like this. Cantilever it, cantilever it. The tower is your body. That short part is like a bag of groceries you're holding out in front of you. Where does the support with the bag come from? It's not under the bag, it's coming from your body. That's what they're doing over there. It's so darn cool. So you can always ask yourselves, why is something shaped a certain way? And you know what? That's a good question. How about this one on the left? Why is that one shaped that way? There's always a reason. It's never just to look cool. This is one of my personal favorites. One of my top So, this is the nerdiest I'm gonna get, and then I promise I'm gonna back off, okay? All these buildings have to have some way to deal with the wind pushing against them. That one has something that is so cool inside, up towards the top, called a tuned sloshing damper, or a slosh damper. Think of it, 160,000 gallons of water in a massive tank. And as the wind pushes that building from the side, that water can actually take that lateral energy and redistribute it. So instead of the building going like that in the wind, it just kind of goes like that a little bit. Now over on the right, we're going to come back to this green building. Instead, I want you to use your imaginations. Erase all buildings. Just take them all away. Imagine a little dirt road coming up along the river, lined by a few houses. One big house directly to your right with a little house right next to it. The little house would be Chicago's first post office. The big house would be Chicago's first hotel, the Sauganash Hotel. And that was where on March 4th, 1837, a group of people got together inside, clinking their beers together, and decided that 4,000 people population is big enough to legally be a city. So March 4th, 1837, right there, was Chicago's official birthday. By the way, what makes Chicago a Pisces? Chicago is a Pisces. All right, now, the first building I'd like to tell you about on the main branch of the Chicago River is this massive building we're passing by on the left. From 1931, it's an Art Deco masterpiece called the Merchandise Mart, designed by Graham Anderson, Probst, and White. Those heads out front are called the Merchandise Mart Hall of Fame. People like Aaron Montgomery Ward, Marshall Field. Now to tell you more about it, I'm going to hand you off to your next tour guide. Just kidding. So, you guys might have noticed, we literally took an entire bridge-to-bridge segment simply to pass by one gigantic building. That is a massive building. That building is so large that it used to have its own zip code, 60654. Now it's got to share it with some other buildings. Oh no, I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. Trust me, I've done this probably 30,000 times. If I pass the first bridge that I had to look at, I'll pass all of them. So don't worry about my head. But thank you. Thank you very much. So that building is so large, it used to have its own zip code. It's also so large that if you want to talk about a building that's got roughly comparable floor space, think of the Sears Tower itself. How's that possible? The Sears Tower is taller, has about 4.8 billion square feet of floor space. That building is wider, has about 4.2 billion square feet. There are 7 miles of hallways in that building. The Repressive Mineral Bridge is named after the late 17th century French explorer to this area. His name was Robert Cavalier Sieur de La Salle. We say La Salle. And right after that on the left, this brick building from 1913 gives you a good idea of how we used to build buildings on the Chicago River. We used to line the river with warehouses like this one. This is the old Reed Murdoch warehouse designed by George C. Nimitz. Now, imagine, we used to line the river with buildings like that. We would basically use the river to transport products from the